Every entrepreneur should approach this book as if their life depends upon it, because it does. Sage advice from Michael Singer, the brilliant author of The Untethered Soul. There's a voice inside your head and mine. It comments, it judges, it worries, it compares, it catastrophizes. It's always there, narrating your life as if you're living with an inner roommate who never stops talking. And Michael Singer calls the voice the inner roommate in The Untethered Soul. And once you see it for what it is, everything in your life begins to change. The video, it's actually a practical review of Singer's book through the lens of my favorite topic, yogic entrepreneurship. And we're going to look at how the ancient wisdom can help you to create success with far less stress. Not actually by doing less in the world, but by shifting your relationship with the one thing that you can never escape, which is your own mind. So what's the problem that we've all been facing? Well, entrepreneurs live inside an almost continuous stream of mental activity, a constant hum of self-talk that feels necessary, even productive. The assumption is simple though. Pressure comes from demands, deadlines, targets, and growth. But Singer invites us to take a different view, to shift our perspective. The pressure doesn't come from life, it comes from your interpretation of life. From the untrained mind that narrates every single moment. You try to manage stress by creating more structures, more systems, more control, yet the mind, it continues its commentary, continues its tightening, and continues its reactivity. You may be incredibly skilled at building companies, but inside the roommate is still unmanaged and unexamined. Productivity hacks don't touch the mind, better tools don't touch this, even success doesn't manage to silence it. The problem is actually deeper and much more intimate. So what of the inner agitation of all entrepreneurs? Well, let's look at 4 elements that Michael Singer brings to our attention inside of this brilliant book. Firstly, how your inner roommate undermines you. That's right, the inner roommate, the voice in your head, second guessing all of your decisions the moment that you make them. It imagines worst case scenarios the moment something even begins to go wrong. It tells you you're not doing enough, even on days when you're giving absolutely everything. The mind, it's not evil, it's just untrained. It's doing what it's learned to do, protecting, controlling, and anticipating. But the cost, as we know, is enormous. The second thing Michael Singer brings our attention to is over-identifying with your thoughts creates burnout. You don't just hear the thoughts, you actually become them. You fuse the worry, the doubt, and the fear. You call it pressure, but actually it's an identification. You might call it overwhelm, but it's really the mind narrating a story of threat. The third wonderful insight that Michael Singer gives us is the powerful thorn metaphor. So imagine you're living your life with a very painful thorn stuck into your skin. Well, you've got 2 choices. The first one, obviously, is you can just take it out and remove it. The second one is that you can build your entire life and your world around protecting and avoiding it. Most entrepreneurs, when it comes to the pains in their mindset, actually do the second. They build elaborate routines to avoid the discomfort of the thorn, chase goals, not actually for fulfillment, but simply to quiet the internal tension. Entrepreneurs keeping themselves busy by just being busy because sitting still forces them to feel this inner thorn. The world is applauding this, but inside it's absolutely exhausting. Fourthly, Michael Singer brings our attention to the fact that we are closing ourselves off instead of opening ourselves up. Every stressful moment tightens you. The chest closes, the breath shortens, the field of perception narrows. You lose access to your inner clarity, your intuition, and your creativity. And all because your inner roommate is running the entire operation. Entrepreneurs, come on, we're solutions-based people. So let's ask ourselves, along with Michael Singer, what is the solution here? Well, Singer's invitation is simple, but it's really, really profound. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one that actually observes the voice, the one who hears the voice. This shift, this recognition, is the beginning of your journey to space, peace, and inner freedom. Secondly, he encourages us to pay attention to our awareness, which is the observer, being like a beautiful blue, clear sky. Singer uses the analogy that in ancient yogic philosophy, your awareness is in fact this beautiful, clear blue sky, and then your thoughts and emotions are the weather that pass across the sky. Weather patterns move in and weather patterns move out. Storms come and storms go. Clouds pass. The sky itself, though, the beautiful blue sky, is totally untouched by all of these events. And when you stop identifying with the weather that is passing through, you stop being tossed and turned around by every mental irritation, agitation, or disturbance. You learn how to simply watch the storm passing through each time. The next solution that he gives us is micro practices for daily life. Entrepreneurs will often say, I haven't got time for this or that, and we might cover that in another video. They want something that is small and manageable. And what you need to do in doing this is to create small openings of awareness repeatedly and consistently. When a moment of stress appears, one thing that you can do is, instead of I'm stressed, you say I'm simply noticing stress. The roommate begins complaining, you just observe. And as you observe, you might say, the roommate is active today. You feel yourself tightening, you pause and you say, I'm closing. The single recognition helps you to begin to move in the opposite direction and start to open. These are not affirmations. They are shifts in your and my identity from being the voice to simply witnessing it. The third solution that we're given is removing of the thorn. When discomfort arises, fear, uncertainty, disappointment, you stay with the feeling instead of reacting to it. You let it pass through you. You stop organizing your life around avoiding inner disturbances. And this is how you reclaim the enormous amounts of energy that have been misdirected and consumed by this wrong perception. The fourth piece of advice that Michael gives us is to stay open. Openness, we can agree, is not weakness. It's a state of inner alignment, a state where you expand to respond instead of reacting, where intuition is accessible, where clarity is natural, and where decisions are around from a grounded center rather than the noise of the inner roommate. This is the leadership advantage that no one or very few ever talk about. So as an entrepreneur, what are some of the applications for individuals like you who learn to consciously control the mind and then learn to master it? Well, in business and in life, you'll make clearer decisions because you're not clouded by inner turbulence. You lead with a steadiness rather than an urgency. You'll become resilient, not because you push harder, but because less can shake you. You operate with more energy because you know you're no longer draining yourself internally morning, noon and night. Creativity will increase exponentially because the mind is no longer in constant contraction. And this is why the Untethered Soul matters to all entrepreneurs, not as a spiritual text separate from daily life, but as a practical guide to navigating the inner world that shapes your outer reality. So in conclusion, Singer's book is an invitation to a different way of being, a different way of doing and conducting business, one where success is not driven by pressure but by presence. It's about achievement that isn't fueled by inner conflict, but it's fueled by clarity, where the mind becomes a tool rather than an inner prison. It's for entrepreneurs who are ready to work not just on their business, but on the one who is running the business. This book is offering you a path. Recognize the roommate. Observe the weather systems. Remove the thorn. Stay open and lead from awareness instead of agitation. This is not an escape from ambition, far from it. It is the evolution of ambition. And it begins with the simple willingness to witness the voice inside your head and no longer take it as the truth. So I'll make you an invitation. Please do like and subscribe this video, especially if you've enjoyed it. And if you have been having fun while listening along, deepening your understanding, then, and you want to know more about the Untethered Soul, we'd love you to join us to cultivate peace and prosperity by learning to consciously control the mind, by joining us. And all that you need to do is join the incredible community at www.school.com/transformation. I look forward to welcoming you inside of the corporate yogi community. Thanks for listening. Namaste.